What's up, YouTube? We're headed home from work. We're about to go change clothes and go jump on working on the boat. The hope for this video is that we can get this boat ready to be painted. Let's get it. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is work on the front deck. So as you can see, I didn't film this because my camera battery died the other day and I wanted to go ahead and get it done. So all I did was I kind of framed out to make it level across there. And then I went up, and I just want to have one hatch on this thing just to make it simple and to make the front deck just not hatches everywhere. So I wanted one good size hatch, and but I didn't want to waste all that storage up there. So I kind of built up another piece that thick aluminum, I say thick, it's 1/8 inch aluminum that matches the contour of the bottom of the boat. I welded it to those longitudinal stringers, and then I bent another piece of sheet metal. It's aluminum, sheet aluminum that goes back, kind of like it makes a step in it, and then it bends up again and makes some more storage. I welded some chases in there for my wires, so I'm gonna have some recessed navigation lights on each side. So I ran me a tube from one side to the other so I can get my wires through there easy. I got a big, like 1.5 inch tube going up to the bow that will run. I can fish my, like if I put a trolling motor up there, or if I want to put my LED lights up there, maybe some flounder lights, bow fishing lights, anything like that, I'll be able to run my wires through that. I think what I'm gonna do now is put some more foam up there in that void, and then come back here, weld on this piece. I just took a piece of cardboard and I got it perfectly like in line with the bottom of the hull, and then I just traced it out on my piece of aluminum. So it fits just right. We're gonna put it in there, weld it up. Got that part welded all up. Now the next thing is going to be to get the gasket can in here, and it'll go on this side right there. I'm planning on welding it to that right there. That's what I'm, like the piece I just welded in there, and just putting a few tacks on the back side of it, just to hold it, because it'll sit down on the bottom on this side. So. Now it's time for the moment we all been waiting for. That is to put the front deck on. So same thing, piece of cardboard, trace it out, get your angles right, cut it out, put it on the boat. So we're fixing to lay this piece on here, weld it up solid, and minus our chase right there, the top will be done. Well, we got it flipped over. As you can see, I meant to record it. I had 5 guys come over and help me. It was heavy, but it wasn't that bad with 5 guys. So I think like maybe 3 of us could have done it. Easy. 2 could have done it, but it'd been hard. Anyways, we got 5 guys, flipped it over. I think I'll get the same 5 guys, and when we get ready to put it back on the trailer, you know, I'll just get them to come over and we'll just pick this thing up and set it on the trailer. So, but as you can see, we've got these you know, pieces that were the side that we cut to bend our rake up, and now what we're fixing to do is cut them off. So I'm just gonna take my Matabo and go right up the side of the boat, and then I'm gonna come back and weld that seam up. Same thing right here at the bow. I'm gonna grind off some of those places where the weld came through on me when I was welding it up on the inside. I'm gonna grind that smooth, and then I'm gonna weld it a nice seam all the way down. And we're gonna have to weld some strakes. So, you know, I would hope to have a flat bottom, because where we run in the marsh, it's real like nasty, muddy, soft bottom, and it would be really nice to be able to just pole across it any way you wanted to pole, you know. When you've got strakes or ribs or chines or whatever down the boat and you sit down in that mud, it makes it hard to move either way, you know. So the only way you can go is straight forward or straight back. So my goal is to put as few as possible. So I've got rounded chines. That's going to help me turn some. But if I don't put any, and I got a 75 horse outboard on this thing, it's going to be swirly. Like, there's going to be no way I'll be able to keep it in a tight line at any rate of speed, I don't think. We're going to have one that goes all the way down the middle of the bow to the back of the boat. And then we're going to put another one about 10 inches off of the side. So that way when you turn and the boat's up, you hope to still have that strake in the water. So your middle strake is probably going to be out of the water when you're turning hard, but maybe that one will still be in the water, and you know, to give you something, at least something to bite on. You see, I've already skinned out this. I didn't video all that. All it was 2 pieces of aluminum over what I'd framed up down there. So I mean, you see it's solid. And then of course we're going to drill some holes in there, and for our spud poles, anchor poles, whatever, marsh anchors. And then I welded another piece of 1/8 over this, so I put it in my brake, bent it to where it fit flat on there, and then welded it right there. That's where, like when you're cranking on it, you know, your roller's gonna be sitting right there, your V will sit right there, whatever. So I wanted it to be nice and sturdy, and just maybe a little thicker, extra, whatever right there. So I did that, and then I welded my eye on, which of course is where you'll hook your stuff coming in. And also welded up the seam right down the bow and up the edges. The goal for the day is to get our strakes, chines, whatever, ribs, whatever you want to call them on the boat. We got some angle, and that's what we're going to use. We're going to start right here, and then you know, as the aluminum is heating up, we're not gonna seam start right here. We're just gonna tack it right here at the front, and then tag it all the way tight as we move back down. There's gonna be nothing going down the back of the boat because it's flat, so it'll just sit down flat. But we want to make sure we get over this contour with tight seams all the way up. So we're gonna tag it all the way up and go, and then on these 2 on the edge, like I said, they're gonna be about 10 inches off the edge of the boat, and they're not gonna come all the way up the bow. They'll probably come up the bow maybe 8 inches, just enough to where when you're first starting, you know, they're gonna be in the water. But really, I mean, most of the time when you're running, when you're gonna need these, is the back of the boat's gonna be the only thing in the water, because you're gonna have the front trimmed up on planes, stuff like that. So the main thing we want them on is the back. So right where they bend up, that's where we're gonna do that. And then we're just gonna let this first one run wild right off the back of the boat, cut it off, seal it up. We don't want any water up in there because I don't want corrosion prematurely. So, all right, so got those strakes on. Got Ram up there cleaning up the welds just so I can inspect them real good and make sure that I've got them, you know, nice and seamed up, sealed up the whole way. I don't want any water getting in there if I can keep from it. So he's getting those cleaned up with a nylon brush on the end of a drill. Got the gunnels seam welded all the way down. What we've got here, you see right here over my right shoulder, we've got some end caps that we've got to weld up. What I've done is I've cut out the pieces that need to fit right here. So these are for the front, those right there for the back, and of course I put a piece of cardboard up there, made sure it fit on both sides, and it did. And same for the back. And then just trace it out, cut it. So we got the boat pretty much in the finished state on the bottom. Not like finished for painting, but finished for testing. So I got all my welds, you know, cleaned up, inspected. But now we're fixing to build the trailer. So I bought an aluminum trailer for like a 14-foot boat because it was on Facebook Marketplace and it was super cheap, and it had all the right stuff. So I went ahead and bought it, even though I knew it wasn't gonna be the right size. But I feel like it'll be easier to modify that one than it will to build a whole new one from scratch is what I think. And it was certainly cheaper. So what we're gonna do is I took the axle off, I took the jack off. So now all we have on there is the tongue and the winch. And we're gonna flip it upside down, put it on top of this boat upside down, and then I'll know where to put my boards from there. So that's the goal. It's kind of heavy, and it's aluminum, so it's not super heavy, but it's probably 300 pounds maybe, I'm guessing. And I got Terry Lee that's gonna help me, so it should be enjoyable to watch anyway. Now listen, this is a boat build video. It's not a trailer build video, so I'm not going to show you everything in this process of building the trailer. But I do want to give you a quick look at what this thing looks like. So what we did is we extended this trailer about 4 feet overall. We moved the bunk mounts. We added a ton of LED lights, marker lights down the side, new tail lights. We added some lights on these guideposts, yellow on the front, red on the back. We also added some underwater LED strips in the bunk. We routed the bunks, put the strip down into the routed slot, and then covered them with some clear gator back bunk covers. Anyway, that's the trailer. Let's get going. Here we are, we got the boat flipped back over. We got it on the trailer that we built. As you can see, I went ahead and got the hatch built. I put a few seat pedestals in, one in the back. And then I buffed or kind of sanded a little bit some of those welds in the bottom. There's gonna be foam down there, but you still don't want like huge ridges up there. So I've got about an hour, 45 minutes or so today. And my goal is to build like a little brush guard type thing around the front. So I've got some 1¼ inch aluminum pipe, and I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna put it in my bender and bend it, and try to follow the bend of the bow up there. And it'll sit up about 3½ inches off of the boat, I think, because we've ordered some LED lights for the front, and I've ordered some LED pods for the back. And we're gonna do kind of like an experiment. So I ordered the LEDs for the front from Black Oak LED, which is high quality. My buddy's got them on his boat. I mean, they're top of the line. And you know, I reached out to them, try to get them to sponsor me, but apparently I don't have a big enough engagement yet. But they're still quality lights, and so we've ordered some of those for the front, but then we've ordered some of the cheap ones from Amazon, some Nylite pods for the back. And I've had Nylite on my other stuff, and it works really good. So the experiment then is they're both going to be on the same boat in the same harsh conditions. So we're gonna see, is it worth going with the really expensive Black Oak LED or things like Black Oak, or can you get by with Nylite from Amazon? But anyways, experiment coming up. So let's get this bent real quick while we've got a little bit of time. got our rails, things to hold on to, passenger over there, driver over here with a grab bar. So where we hunt in Louisiana, you can't have a surface drive, but if we ever change where we hunt, I'll get a surface drive, and it's always nice to have a handle with one of those. But also, I mean, we stand up when we drive with the outboards where we hunt, so it's just good to have a handle, and you know, even just sitting down, have something. But also, all this right here will kind of protect my my Garmin. So I'll put my unit right here and kind of under this handrail and all that stuff, and it'll just give me a little bit of protection against outside forces for my Garmin. But of course, we got the front rail done as well, all welded up, and now the only thing left to do is to sand it. So we're fixing to get a couple of sanders and some 120 and maybe 220 and start sanding it. And once we get everything sanded, then we'll do the aluminum wash and paint it. Of course, we'll take it off the trailer to paint the bottom, but we're gonna sand what we can sand while it's on the trailer right now, and then it'll just be time to flip it over.